Hi, I'm Karen Duncombe, and I'm an occupational therapist. Today, I just want to talk a little bit about autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. So, again, welcome to Essential Inclusion, where my mission and goal is to be a support for parents and caregivers of individuals with special needs that are less visible, especially that are less visible, but all types of special needs. So, about 1 in 68 boys are diagnosed with autism in the United States, according to the CDC. That number is about 4.5 million in the U.S. And each of these individuals with ASD have about 10 people that surround them that it specifically affects. That could be a mom, a dad, brothers and sisters, close family members, a teacher, possibly a physician, different doctors that are coming close contact with these individuals with autism spectrum disorder. So this diagnosis really touches many people around us. So what needs to happen is that we need to understand and we need to accept and accommodate people with autism. It's just the fact that we really need to seriously look into how, as a society, we can learn to accommodate those with autism spectrum disorder. In 1991, I'm looking at my notes, in 1991, the American with Disabilities Act was signed by President George Bush Sr. And that act changed the every building, because they had to be wheelchair accessible. There had to be a bathroom that was accessible to those with wheelchairs. There had to be ramps. There had to be signs up. There had to be special parking spaces allotted for those with disabilities, especially those in wheelchairs. So this law really changed the whole dynamic of the society. It made some major changes. And these were geared to the individuals who are wheelchair bound or who uses wheelchairs. There are about three times the number of people with autism than people who use wheelchairs. But there aren't any real accommodations that are society-wide the way they are for those who are in wheelchairs. So that would look like a quiet room in different buildings, or a sensory processing room, it could be called, or a place to manage themselves and manage their feelings and their emotions, and be able to deal with what's going on, the sounds, the smells, the feels, what's happening, the lights in the environment. So there are 3 times as many children or people who have autism spectrum disorder than there are people who use wheelchairs. So this is really just pointing to the fact that we have to look into how we can make accommodations for these people in our society. The Americans with Disabilities Act applies to those with disabilities, and what that says is that everyone is entitled to the same access. The key word is access. Okay, so it's important to ask when family members are out with our loved ones. It's so important to ask for accommodations. I can tell you that when my firstborn was much younger, she was very hyperactive and she was a runner, and so it wasn't easy to go out with her. I heard people make different comments about my ability or inability to control my child. I was really worried about her safety as well, and so what I did was I stayed home. For most of the time, I stayed home if I didn't really have to. My husband really picked up, filled in the gaps and went out and did things on the outside as far as grocery shopping, as far as running errands, so that I didn't have to deal with that. My children both have auditory sensitivities. Certain sounds really, really negatively affect them. And so they would cry when they were younger. They would cover their ears. And so I would walk around with headphones or earplugs to put in for them because I didn't want them to be uncomfortable. And then I also didn't want somebody to say, well, what's wrong with your child? Can you please do something about that? When we are, as caregivers and parents, go out, it's important to advocate for ourselves and our loved ones. Ask for an accommodation. Ask for a quiet place. Businesses, places, buildings, they need to know that there is the need. And we're really working towards and looking forward to the time where these laws will be put in place for people with autism spectrum disorder as well. So when you're in various settings, ask for that quiet room to help your child or loved one manage their emotions effectively. So at this rate, there'll soon come a time when the needs of individuals with less visible disabilities will have to be addressed because of the sheer numbers of people that are affected. So the expectations of society is that everyone is able to connect appropriately, is able to learn, is able to manage emotions, is able to tolerate various sensory experiences. And individuals with autism have to exist and function with the neurology that they were born with. This is not something that they're doing that's wrong. This is just what they were given. This is the neurology, the way their brain and their neurological system works. That's what they've been given. And so we have to learn how to accommodate and help them. This is not something that they're doing on purpose or it's anyone's fault. So we need to keep that in mind and look at how we can be compassionate, how we can be kind. And so I just want to encourage you to be your loved one's advocate, to be your loved one's greatest advocate and defender, and don't stay silent, don't stay home. Come out into society and ask for what you need. I'm so excited to be able to have this forum to reach out to others who may have had some of the same experiences that I have had. And also, as I work with my clients and the students that I work with, it's a pleasure to be able to make a difference in their lives and the lives of their caregivers. If you have any questions or comments, please leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you, and let me know if there are any topics that you would like to hear more of. Again, my name is Karen Duncombe. I'm an occupational therapist. I'm a wife and a mom of 2 wonderful girls, and I will see you next time on Essential Inclusion.